What's up, everyone? It is I, Adam Prime, and we are back for another TokuBrew podcast. This week in Toku, as you can hear, with me as always is my co-host and wife.
Hi, I'm Stormy. I am here, and I'm his wife. I'm those things. Let's go.
Those are your list of accomplishments?
Yes. Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing. Not our careers or anything else. Yeah, I say careers in quotation marks. Well, whatever. Moving on. We have Gotchard and Kingohger to talk about. We have 3 episodes of each Gotchard 20, 21, and 22. And, or is it 23? I don't know. We watched them. Kingohger 46, 47, and 48 are what we are talking about today.
God, Kingohger is ending soon, and my life is over.
Oh my god.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. So, let's get right down into these episodes, and these first 2 Gotchard episodes, we're going to just talk all of them at once.
Yeah, these were actually some really good episodes. These first 2 were actually
really good.
They were
solid, but I think there's some problems.
Oh, yeah, the first episode that we're going to talk about was actually probably the best out of the 3. The second one was alright, and the third one was just kind of meh. But
yeah, the third one was just kind of meh. The only thing that's riddled with this whole problem with Valvarad, and this even we could say goes into Rina, we did try to focus on remembering her name.
Yeah, we actually remembered it this time.
I don't even remember what her common writer name. I want to say it's like Majird or something like that.
I see the word, and I'm just like, I don't want to bother figuring out how to
pronounce it. But like, they take so much tension out because they changed the intro recently to have both of them in there, so you know he's gonna become a common writer.
God, it was really we literally paused the episode at one point and talked about this, like as we were watching it, because we were watching this actually very well done episode with lots of emotion and great acting, but it's completely just there's no tension whatsoever. Because he's in the intro, but just because we're behind, we also know, like some rumors of what was going to be happening soon.
Yeah, we saw the toys, but it's like we just didn't know when.
We just didn't know when it was going to happen, but we know it's going to happen eventually because his Kamen Rider form is just in there.
But yeah, and then even when his parents walked up, we were immediately like,
They're dead.
They're dead.
They're dead.
They're dead. By the way, we are a spoilers podcast, so spoiler alert, his parents are dead.
Someone just chimes in for the first time and they're just like, wow. These guys suck.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we were behind for a long time. This is
at this point,
maybe
people
this time...
probably are ahead of us at this point.
Yeah, who knows? Either way, we have like
this is us behind the curve.
We get a whole new monster. We get like Greymon, I don't remember, Greon, whatever. Stupid.
Like the Digimon?
Yeah, like the Digimon. You know, he's one of my favorite Digimon. War Greymon? But
he's Gold Greymon.
No, do not. This guy sucks. He puts a mummy in cum water.
Wow, alright. We're coming in strong this episode, I guess.
Oh. Well,
anyway,
this isn't for kids anyway.
This does lead into a really cool monster design, though. It's a...
This angel.
And there's like, what, 5 arms on this character, and like, they actually made the design work because there's like a really creepy mannequin cracked doll looking thing that's like T-posing to assert dominance.
It has 4 arms.
And then it has like 2 more arms because there's like one is a design and one I think is an actual actor's arm, and then the wing it's not actually an arm, but that's the actor's arm, so there's like just all this craziness going around, but it actually works somehow. I'll commend them. This is, just so you know, there is an absolutely atrocious monster design to compare this to later.
Oh.
Do you remember?
Yes, I know.
I just remembered looking at them like, I'm complimenting the heck out of this one, but I'm probably going to rip on that other one.
So, Spanner's, like, teacher... So, I know, I'm not going to call him that.
That's not his name. His name is just Spanner.
Spanner. His teacher, we find out, is going to the coffee shop being like, hey, what do you guys think you're doing? I need you to help finish his driver. It's a special driver. Can you tell via all the wires and things we just drilled on top of this toy? It's so funny.
I imagine people that actually program things are looking at that like, that's just garbage. I don't know anything.
They even explain that the chemis that will give him his Kamen Rider form are actually 2 of the same type.
Yeah, 2
of 2 number 6s and so on. But we also find out, like, they keep just admitting, being like, yes, I knew your father wasn't a traitor. So easily.
Oh my god, yeah, like all of these
She's also
people...
expositioning up a storm, this lady.
Yes, this is Madam Exposition.
Yeah, you've heard of
I don't
Madam
know her
Web.
name.
You've heard of Madam Web. No, you have Madam Exposition.
Yeah, thanks for dating that.
What? She's like a comic character. She's been around since the 90s.
Yeah.
There's no way a crappy movie coming out real soon about it. I haven't. I just.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, nothing. That movie isn't. We don't know anything about that movie. You're not supposed to know about Trinity, Stormy. So.
Anyway, so yeah, it's actually hilarious. It seems like everybody involved in this situation knew that Rine's dad wasn't a traitor and yet was treated like one. It's like, if everybody knows that they're a good person, why bother trying to like banish them or whatever?
Yeah, you find out Greymon killed his parents while trying to open the most Kingdom Hearts thing, the Dark Door.
He used forbidden alchemy to try and open
the Dark Door.
And his heart was filled with malice as he watched him kill his parents.
God, you have to do the most anime-sounding announcer voice for that one.
I was sounding more like... I feel like it was more just like a dumb voice rather than like a narrator voice.
Also, this angel just beats Spanner's head
into
a
my god
pipe. He gets the crap
It was
kicked out of him.
Legitimately like just harsh.
I like how I would say "cum" earlier, and I couldn't say and I didn't say shit.
It's for the kids, Adam. You're like, yeah, so they dropped this thing into a giant cum jar at the very beginning, but later it's like, oh man,
jar. That's what he said. That's what he said to do to him.
Why does anyone listen to us?
Does anyone listen to us? Tell us down in the comments. There you go. But yeah, you also get...
Dang, you got me.
And by the way, I think the teacher was in that fire as they were getting attacked. Also, you find out that Spanner's parents weren't just any other alchemists. They were weapon alchemists.
Which I like to just think creatively as blacksmiths.
Yeah, they were the blacksmiths.
Where are the blacksmiths?
They found them.
Where's the blacksmith?
Also, as we saw Gotchard and Rine go to the scene, we were like, oh my god, could you imagine if she was asking, she's like, why do we only have one bike? Like, can we get another bike?
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just like, can we get another bike? Come on, let's go. And it's just like, no, we only have the one.
No, faster.
Also, we had one Hades sister that likes Spanner. We'll get back to her.
Anyway, so it becomes absolute trauma city in here.
So you find out the angel's going to kill his parents again, and he obviously lost his card last episode. I did not realize that. Did we point that out last episode?
You know what? I don't know.
I think
we just thought he pinataed a bunch of cards, and we just didn't assume it was his main one.
And you pretty much find out that conveniently in this episode they decided to drop an important plot detail that he actually had something they were calling the Black Fire or something bullshit like that.
The Black Flame.
Blaze. Yeah. It's something.
Black Flame, I think, but
yeah, where you can find out that he's
right
an extremely
a beautiful black flame. It's right there.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, will he ever become a common rider if he gets consumed by it? And I'm like, yes, I've seen the intro.
No, it's impossible. Also, dead people cannot do alchemy, even though later we see dead people do alchemy.
Yeah, it's super...
we made a rule just to break it.
Yeah,
in the same episode.
Well, yeah, and you just find out...
This summer.
Yeah, so you find out that you even find out from his teacher, he has like this special power and everything else. Like, he is really strong in alchemy, but he can lose control, where she got like stabbed because it just went madness, and she was like, maybe you shouldn't remember your parents' death if you're gonna lash out like this.
His memories.
And yeah, so they justify that later. Kinda. But ultimately, like, you see Greymon pretty much break him, and like...
he rips his face off.
Yeah, you see him transform into Valvarod pretty much when he gets possessed by the Mad Wheel Chemi, and you just see him rip his face off, and this is on the monster suit, is just hit, like, that Valvarod mask ripped off.
I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's like the engine head without Valvarod stuff, which the monster itself looks really cool.
By the way, should I put maybe like my constructive criticism on the suit, or should I just be like, these people wouldn't care about hearing that?
I don't know. Like, it's kind of neat, and I don't think we have any wider shots of it. If we do, we'll we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, he's trying to stop the Angel. They don't really stop the Angel. Next episode, it's time for his debut and everything. And yeah, we just like it's kind of just the resolve. You have the you have the science kids. You have the science kids helping what's her face
actually doing
driver.
Stuff, doing experiments and doing tests. Like scientists.
Yeah.
And of course, Gotchard is kind of bad at it. And one of the Hades sisters, gets like a power up. He's here, I shared some of it.
Yeah,
also, do you want to mention one thing that you skipped over a little bit? I don't know if you want to mention the fact that they're just like, you're my friend. Like, you're
out of nowhere.
And then he's just like, I hate you, and then he keeps walking away.
Yeah, he's like, Spanner wasn't a real person. That person wasn't real because I'm going through my edgelord phase. It's like, aren't you always going through your edgelord phase?
Edgelord phase. Come,
demon
hipster chicks.
He just. I don't get it. Like, Ichinose went from, oh, fuck Spanner. I don't like Spanner. Get him out of here. And now he's just like, oh, you're my friend.
I don't know if he was like that before, honestly. I think, he always was just like, hey, buddy. And the other guy was just
wasn't.
Like, no.
No, he wasn't. He was...
Was he?
Yeah, he was absolutely being I hate that guy.
There's been a little bit of a... Oh, yeah, he very recently came into feeling that, didn't he?
Yeah, it was this episode.
That he, broke that?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember. I'm sorry. There was a little bit of a gap between the last time that we watched Gotchard, so I probably just forgot. That's my bad.
Yeah, long story short, they fix it, they finish up the driver, and the Angel is immediately just being like, well, I've come to kill you to take the driver. That's mine. And then the teacher does that.
As I say, that wasn't the Angel, that was the teacher.
Remember, the Angel says that, because that's why Rine and Ichinose left to go fight him, and then the teacher came in and was like, I'm taking the driver, and I guess I should kill you. And then he shows up and is like, Spanner, I have the driver. And I killed her. I killed Miss Expedition.
Exposition.
Sorry, I said the...
Expedition. Expedition is let's go on
a quest.
Journey, a quest.
And he turns into Dread. And...
Still love that suit.
And you pretty much just see him as Mad Wheel, the Amalgam fight. And then suddenly his ring goes...
It re-chemied itself or whatever it was.
Yeah, he broke out for some reason, and now he can turn into... Yeah, he becomes a new card, and we get Kamen Rider Valvarod. And it looks pretty cool.
I like it.
So, yeah, we now have our third Kamen Rider, and he gets this really sweet power-up.
Yeah,
I really like it.
And, small spoiler, but it was in, the trailer for... of this episode that we do see that she gets a power-up next episode. I was not expecting them to be getting power-ups, and I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, it's I like what they did for Valvarod and whatever her name is. And yeah, so he beats the monster. He's a Kamen Rider. It wasn't that exciting. You just kind of get Spanner's backstory, but we kind of just got all of this all at once. And I'm not gonna lie, up until this point, I have no reason to like Spanner. If I'm being honest.
I will say, though, at least the episode was good.
Yeah,
at least
really
it was
well
good
done.
to watch. I cherish these, spikes of good that we get.
And then you get the next episode, which was a real drag. Because it's about the one girl and the vampire.
Oh, wait, is this where she gets her power-up?
No,
yes, this is where she gets her power-up.
That's in the next episode.
No, I mean, the Hades sister.
Oh,
yeah, I had mentioned it earlier, but it's this episode. My bad.
Oh yeah, so they find Tank Ceratops.
Oh wait, wasn't it the last episode that we saw? No, it's this one where we see the absolute atrocity of that one. Did we even get a screenshot of it?
Oh, of the monster?
The one where, especially after. Okay, we did. Okay, good.
Yeah, I got one. Don't worry, I got that screenshot of the crappiest monster suit. It does not look cool, but we'll get to it.
Anyway, there's a small build-up of oh my gosh, is that one character girl that I can't remember.
Also, they were wearing cowboy hats at the opening.
Yeah,
and they caught Tank Ceratops.
Tank Ceratops.
Okay, it's more just a Triceratops, but still. And then you see the most obvious vampire you've ever seen.
The most obvious vampire to ever Addams Family.
Also, I had to pick up on something, and I don't think it's trying to say anything, or maybe it's just because they're both the Kamen Riders, but why are Ichinose and Rine always wearing matching hats? They were both wearing cowboy hats. They're wearing the same hats while they're in disguises.
Disguises, Adam.
Yeah, but
it's
whatever.
Fashion.
I'm about to say one not important kid anymore because he's no longer Dredd with his John Lennon sunglasses is wearing a bull hat.
He has more personality than the other girl.
Goddamn
I don't even
bucket
remember.
hat.
I don't remember her name or anything about her.
And she was getting
Anyway.
the life sucked out of her.
But yeah, anyway, so this one's a vampire, and he is actually a human. He looks like a human.
Yeah.
He has a big old arrow on his head,
has a
like he's the
throne.
Avatar. Really cool crown.
So we also get to see.
Annoys me a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, this has actually been like a fairly known Japanese actor. We noticed he was in a lot of romance movies.
I think he was in a J-pop group or something.
Something like that. He's played the handsome one, and I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do see, like, oh my god, they did do a joke where she's like, "Oh, it was a Kemi? Oh no!"
And almost like
God damn it. Also, the parka comes back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The parka comes back because the vampire starts possessing everyone.
Yeah, they
and start sucking up the life into his crown. And
give blowing kisses.
Ichinose decides that he's going to transform into his sweatshirt form to get Andorine to throw the crown off. Yes, that's the real plan that happened. And then we get another fight because the Hades sisters decide that it was time to strike, and none of them are smart enough to go They have 3 common riders and 2 enemies, and the vampire's getting away, so it's almost like you should send one of the 3 of you to go get the vampire, and they didn't, and it bothers me because it's stupid.
Yeah, you just kind of like, oh, I kind of got away scot-free, didn't I?
Yeah. And
it looks like he's like not gonna be that much of a bad guy though. But anyway, yeah, there was some other stuff with like the Hades sister, and like, oh no, let's let him get powerful or whatever. And it was with this like saber-toothed tiger one. But the head was kind of cool with it, but like it just has a butt hanging off of it.
It's stupid.
It looks pretty dumb. And then it mixes with another Kemi.
At the end, yeah, like both of them I think got a slight power up.
Really
so,
bad. It really looks thrown together at best.
Yeah, I don't like its butt that it has just as a hand.
It looks
the bug part's not bad, but the head looks stupid with the leg sitting right next to the mantis arm. It's not good.
Like, I hate criticizing this kind of stuff because it's like, hey, you don't know, like, the people probably worked really hard on it. It's probably better than anything I could make, but at the same time, I'm like, guys.
Really?
I did.
You can do better than this. But yeah.
You stop trying.
Oh my god. But yeah, then we get a preview for next episode. We get her getting a power up. I like the
guys. This
the
looks
Cerberus
good.
And Moon.
This looks really pretty.
Cool.
So
but yeah,
Unicorn and Sun and Moon and Cerberus with a little howl.
Hey, and now we find out we go into Kingohger.
Guys, Kingohger is hurting me. Like,
so 46 and 47 are pretty much the Grody episodes, and then we're going to get into the beginning of the end.
Yes, basically.
But yeah, we pretty much open up with Grody just being like, because they pretty much do it right away when he starts attacking.
Yeah,
and, like they immediately start using Himino's ability.
Yeah, because Himino has a scythe that can basically suck away all the life out of something. Like, even when you slash something else, like the trees die around you.
Yeah, it just sucks the life out.
Basically. And then
when it happens to Grody,
here's the thing, he like immediately is like, do it, kill me, oh my god, please, like he jumps at it. And even though, like, Kame Jim is like, do you want to do anything about this? Dougal's just, no, just watch. And when Himino slices through him, a bunch of, like, dead shoe gods just spill out of him. And he's just like, what
a bunch of
is
shoe
this?
And
and he's like, what is this? And he, like, gathers them up and disappears.
He's like, what happened?
But he left behind a little snail.
And we can now literally say, because they immediately go into it, Grody is like Gira, but he was for the Bugnark. The Bugnark asked for him.
The Bugnark asked for the power, exactly like what happened when he gave Gira.
So this is what Gira would have become if he ate all the Shoe God souls.
Exactly. He's
an unstoppable killing machine.
Yeah, he said he was like, I took a corpse and I filled its guts with bugs or something. I filled its belly with bugs or something.
Yeah,
like
that happens later.
And oh goodness.
So yeah.
Why'd you like zip past everything?
Because we kind of were going into both, but then we get like like he's an immortal tool, and Reculus immediately goes to Jeremy, just being like, "Hey, take me with you. And then you see Jeremy.
Excuse me, Susan May is out shopping.
Oh yeah, she's out shopping.
I wonder if the actress just wasn't available, so they just put in a little.
Yeah, because we don't see her at all this episode.
Yeah, I feel like she probably would have been involved.
And we show that Jeremy is teaching the other remaining Bugnark how to bury their life.
Like, and he personally also does it with them.
And you also see that the sidewalk where you see the shadow of what was left of Deathnark, like, propped up as almost a tombstone, and you actually do see you see Tarantula Abyss.
Tarantino or whatever his name is.
That's big Tarantula.
I nicknamed him Hayachi, so.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, you saw him for a second.
And it's he said that he does it because he wants them to learn to mourn their kin, because they kind of stopped feeling sadness for their losing everyone around them because it was just so normal. He's like, no, you need to learn to be sad that someone.
You have to
has
think
died.
they were shooting bullets of smaller ones of them.
Yeah.
And you find out what Jeremy's family crest is, and it is eternal life, and that's probably why they hid it away. Mm-hmm. And we see him open up his chest, and you just see this crystal
inside his chest. And I had wondered, this was something, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have always wondered, like, how far in did the Bugnark go? Because we've only ever really seen his hands and his face, and, like, nothing else. So I was curious. It was interesting to see.
But yeah. And then that's even when Grody finds out he was just meant to kill. Oh, there's the picture of, Tarantula Abyss.
There he is.
He's so cute.
Little beatsy.
And he's pretty much, they find out as long as that was part of him, he can't die, pretty much. And this will come up.
He won't grow old or die.
Yeah. And then that's kind of where you find out they find a plan, and it makes it seem like Himino's trying to find a way to reverse death.
Or, like, bring the dead back to life. And it's like, we wouldn't have to, like... Yeah. Is this where they get into it, or is it later?
Yeah, this is where they get into it, because all of a sudden, like, that's why... Jeremy says eternity's like a lonely place. He's like almost saying like, I
almost don't want to say too much because I want to talk about every single little thing that happens, but I also don't want to just do that to like ruin it if someone hasn't seen it. But
we're talking spoilers.
I know it's not even spoiler because spoilers. I'm just like, I just want people to go watch it.
Yeah, again, if you haven't watched any of these Kingohger, just go watch Kingohger. Story short,
it's like, more than worth it. We are not doing it justice. Watch it.
I'm not just doing this to be offensive. But fuck Gotchard, watch Kingohger. Like seriously, if you had to pick one of these shows to watch Kingohger. Watch Kingohger because it is so good and fun. Well,
incredibly well written.
Yeah, I really like how it's done. If you don't agree, fine. But if you don't, you should experience this with as little spoilers as you can. Also, we have Reculus controlling the ant
and it seems like we are truly, like, in the end game. Like, if you actually have not watched Kingohger by this point, I would suggest, like, just go do it. Do yourself a favor.
Also, so yeah, Grody starts another Fury of the Gods, and you see that they had a plan.
This is the end game. This is the end game, so...
You see that they have a plan immediately, what they want to do with the Fury of the Gods, and they evacuate everyone into the underground, and the Bugnark are taking them in.
It is such a gloriously executed plan, and it feels like everyone is just kind of everybody getting to redeem themselves from the past sins of the kings, basically. Yeah. Because everyone has regrets because it's like, oh, because of this reason, no one could do this, and no one could do this, and just so many people died. So their whole goal is not to have a single casualty.
That's the main goal.
The goal is not one person. One person.
So yeah, they immediately are trying to make a plan, and that's when we even get to Himino. Also, we find out what the Anteater was that was in Kabaragi's crimes.
Yeah, we were wondering. It's just like, okay, Kabaragi was like actually committing a war crime. What was he up to? And oh my god, we get to see finally. He hits a big old button on a pillow.
And the holes open up everywhere.
And they're just like cute little slides that lead to this section in the land of in-between, I believe they call it now.
The Bugnark
that's like a shelter, and it's like apparently they've been preparing this for a really
Tofu
long time.
brought all the food.
Like they've got all of their medicine gear. Like they were so methodical and just like telling the kids of just like, we got everyone. Everyone is fine. No one died. You don't need to be scared.
Yeah, but
it was like such a good way because like it felt like they were being so laser focused.
Well, here's the thing. Before the whole thing with the Fury of the Gods while that was intermixed with happening, because they hatched a plan for what they want to do to Grody. And again, it all focused on getting that, messing with that stone that was inside of Jeremy, and it kind of begs that question of how is life and what is death and all of that.
What does it mean to live a life if you can't
exactly.
die?
Like, you see Himino almost toy with being the idea of bringing the dead back to life and everything, but then
or never dying themselves.
Exactly. And it's like you see her go to her parents' graves and say, maybe I'll meet you again, and it's like, oh. And then you even have Jeremy just being like, as much as I like my eternal life, I would love to grow old with the friends I have now.
I want to grow old with them. Like, I want to die with them. Like, these are my comrades, basically. Like, I want to go with them.
Yeah. And then you pretty much...
Again, and he even remarked that it was very lonely.
Yeah. And you pretty much see them give Grody life. Like, they just shoot it straight into him. Himino cuts the crystal out of him. Jeremy then shoots him into him, and this apparently supercharges him for some reason, or I guess it makes him killable.
Well, no, he's alive.
Well, yeah, because they immediately just say he took a corpse, because this is where he says it. He took a corpse and then just filled its gut with bugs. So, which was, and he even admits, he's like, and which was the original plan for Gira.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's pretty much where he's the mastermind, and we go right into the next episode, and that's like where you even see Jeremy with his people while they're protecting them and just being like, hey, you remember how it all used to be about winning? Don't you feel good helping people and showing kindness towards them?
And they're just like, yeah. And guys, it breaks my heart how little of them are left.
There's like 7 of them. At least
8 if you count Jeremy.
Yeah.
7.5.
And then you pretty much find out they're just like, okay, we're gonna fight Grody and make a really big Kingohger, and Reculus gets to pilot the ant.
Hell yeah.
Then
there's just an absolute blanket ocean of amount of these.
Yeah.
And Kingohger basically just wipes it all.
Yeah. And long story short, they kill Grody. They kill Grody wholesale, and
Little man Himino didn't really get to deliver the final blow, but whatever.
Yeah, and pretty much he just kept saying how death is just a quiet thing, and then you see him in the world of the dead.
Land of the Dead, World of the Dead. And guess what? Yeah, all of the damned souls that he probably killed are there screaming at him, and he's just running around screaming.
And we are now entering the end game. This even opens up with saying...
Wait, no, it does. I do want to at least say that it ends on such a nice note of them all just in a big group hug and just, we did it. Because guess what, guys? 0 casualties. Because we actually did have another moment where Reculus, because again, 17 years ago...
They did nothing.
He couldn't do anything, and we've mentioned that it totally killed him inside. It tore him apart, and him getting it to redeem himself, and
in that moment,
especially there was this lady that
in a wheelchair,
called him out, just being like, I died that day, my whole family died that day, and I was the only survivor, and he just things are different now, and the world is in better hands, and it is a better place.
Yeah. And so we pretty much open up in the next episode, 48. We open up on a
By the way, there's 50 there's 50 episodes. That tells you how endgame we are in now, guys.
So you immediately get to see, and everyone is pretty much looking dead. Except
it looks like the entire planet's eviscerated.
And we're pretty much starting right at the end. Quite literally, this is the ending bit of the episode. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh my god, and it says, this is going to begin the final tale of Kingohger. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
And even the intro was different because it didn't have its opening narration. It had the song with the lyrics, but that part was cut out. It had music. But...
Oh, yeah. And then they pretty much were talking about, hey, we have all the forms of Kingohger. We're going to get the ultimate one if we unite all our powers together, but we need to find a substitute for
Jeremy's eternal life because they lost it.
Yeah, because they had lost it, yeah.
Because with how they framed it, they were basically each of the organs, and it almost feels like the entirety of them would just be a living thing together.
Exactly. And this Kingohger's big. It's the size of the planet.
It's basically what people thought Ridley from Smash Bros. Would look like.
Too big.
This big boy.
This would be Kraid if he was playable.
Oh yeah, I forget that we haven't watched the Swan special.
Oh yeah, and this was from Gira's coronation where we get Rhinal.
He was
I don't know. It's the first king.
Rhinal. I don't know. The first King.
And then, like...
I haven't watched it either, so
and immediately, the Galactic Insect King is just like, well, you guys killed all my jesters. Time for me to fight. And we're like, wait, where's Kame Jim? Put a pin in him. Also, just in general, just beat the shit out of Kame Jim.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, everyone's trying to evacuate, and all of the retrainers have special backpacks.
There's little cat backpacks, but without the domes.
But with their logos. They have the logos
Their
on
logos? Their logos.
And
these ruples.
And it's weird for me to say there's not a whole lot to talk about with the plots with them with the Galactic Insect King, because it's just literally them getting their asses handed to them and just trying their hardest to buy them time to get away, because we find out that they're trying to evacuate again. And
they all lead them to this one spot.
And the castle shows up.
And Regulus is just being like, hey, we just gotta go. They're gonna come with us with the shoe gods.
And they were like, hey, we're not supposed to open... Like, he knew what was in the backpacks, and they were trying to open them, and he's like, no.
And then they're like, open that backpack, and they, like, hold him back.
Yeah, and they hold...
And Duga...
holds up the crown.
The founder's crown. And they all open theirs, and it's each of their marks... Their kingdom heirlooms?
Well, they're, like,
Kingly
symbols.
Heirlooms? They're symbols of kingdom.
Well, yeah.
Sure, that's
the ones that gave him their superpowers.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, except for Jeremy. Jeremy just gave him his gun.
Yeah, and he's fighting with only the sword.
So, yeah, he only has the sword. And it's kind of sad because it's just kind of having that argument of being like, the reason they're fighting right now is to buy you time. So
we
you
need
guys
to go.
And, like, they're like, we're going to go to another planet and we're going to do this. And they immediately do make that argument of being like, no, we're not continuing this cycle of going to another planet.
Like, we've been repeating this for 2,000 years. And I forget who makes the argument of just like, these kings are a miracle.
That was Regulus.
Oh, yeah, because Regulus actually goes on a very impassioned speech of like, you can't think this is okay, do you? And he's like, no, I don't. These guys were an absolute miracle. No one else in the entirety of the universe has been able to, like, grip their fist around his throat like how they had. Like...
Yeah, and that's why we need to trust them. Or maybe it was Duga. It was him.
No, I think when Regulus went on a very impassioned speech and... Like, and they all, like, kind of decide together of just, like, nah, we need to go and help them.
But then Bowler Hat Guy suddenly wants to stop them to get their power. And then, in a plot twist, another Bowler Hat Guy
saying that's an imposter!
And how he's louder.
Yeah, and how do they know? Because the kids who have been hearing him scream at them the whole time is like, this guy is real because his voice is louder. And he's like, yeah, thank you. And then he turns into Kame Jim.
Yeah, and that's where we end up. And then we see Death Narc walk up just being like, what's up, boys?
But guys,
I
we get
the
such
land of the dead.
And Regulus says such a great line of, I owe you more payback than I could ever dish out.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. The two people that Kame Jim has probably screwed over the most
are about
to kick his ass, and I am so ready to see it.
Like, I'm excited. Like, because again, Kame Jim was playing both sides, and I like that he even admits, he's like, weren't we friends? He's like, fuck you.
Pretty much.
Fuck you. How about that? Come take some. Like, I'm excited to see him probably die next episode.
Oh, it's gonna be so cathartic.
It does make sense that he is the last one standing.
Yeah. Little Leech has been around for way too long.
And overall, that was really a great episode. It feels like we didn't talk about it that much, but I have a lot to say about these episodes because they were all really, really solid. Grody as a character was really fun to see. Like, his build-up, the reason he was the Fury of the Gods both times.
The relationship between Himino and Jeremy, and the relations between them and the dead.
And, like, life and death and all of that. And ultimately to find out that Grody is what Gyra could have been actually adds another layer of it that's also very interesting. And I think it was really well done, and I overall do really like all of the gestures that they had.
Not to mention, I'm actually gonna say, like, the bowler hat guy, they gave a purpose to this lunatic that would be screaming at them all the time. They gave it a purpose, and, like, that's so well thought out. Everything in here has just been so satisfying. I was so worried. I could probably go back and listen to old episodes, because I was like, how are they going to be able to wrap this up in a way that is satisfying because it is just this good. Because I'm so used to it being like a really solid show, but they don't know how to wrap it up. And I'm already so satisfied. Like,
okay, do you have any favorite moments?
God, I don't even know. Like, everything with like Reculus and Jeremy was super, super interesting.
Yeah. Again,
again, everything with Grody was really good, and the relationship between what he and Gira are, the entirety of the Fury of the Gods was just such a so satisfying to see pulled off. The absolute despair that I felt when I saw all of them saying goodbye to like everybody, not only their friends and people they would consider family, their kingdoms, all of the people of the planet. They were saying goodbye, and that's just... Yeah. And they decided to fight for him. I was absolutely fucking cackling with laughter with the bowler hat guy. I'm so ready to see Reculus hand Kami Jim his ass on a platter and Death Nyark blowtorching it or something. I don't know, like it's a like creme brulee.
Yeah. And like it was just a really fun. Honestly, it's
more like creme brulee.
Oh my god. Well, I feel like it's also the first two. It's super funny. I think we had two-part weeks that would have gone really well just to have them on their own. But I will say, going in from 46 to 47 felt like one story, and then we go into the final story. Then you compare it to Gotchard, where it felt like, okay, the Valvarod 2 episodes, and then back to your stupid bullshit, where you don't feel like you're going in any direction. And I feel like I'm not trying to compare these two shows because...
That's, like, unfair
It is unfair, because this is the ending of the show. That's
we're,
still
like, halfway through Gotchard, which was kind of crazy when you mentioned that to me.
Exactly. We're on 23, going to be 24 episodes.
And I'm
We're
still
near
not
the halfway point.
This show, so far, it's just okay. It's the best I can give it.
It's meh. And again...
You want to know what? We need to have... What was it? I don't remember who it said it, but... It's like, we need to have the things that are just okay in order to have things be very good and also very bad.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing I want to say.
We need to have that middle ground.
And then you had Dawn Brothers last year, Kingohger this year, just bangers.
Hey, Zenkaiger the year before that. Thank you very much.
Zenkaiger was a fun time, and I love it.
I don't care what you say. I love that show.
I do
That's a personal favorite.
I love it, too.
It was one of the first Sentai that truly made me feel deep emotions.
The only one we don't agree on is Lupin vs. Pataranger.
I like it. It was my first Sentai I sat and watched. It has a special place in my heart.
But yeah, no, I just think a lot of what Kingohger has done is so much fun. Like, again, you know these people. Like, you know their faces.
Them.
You know the stories behind Sebastian. And
and it gives nods and like small hints towards these things of just like someone like winking at the camera, almost like, you guys know what we're talking about, you remember. Or even just like it looked like they were giving each character that they had given a spotlight to a chance to like be seen one last time. Like, oh, like the head nurse and like the head maid. We had Sebastian and his like...
Also, can we talk about the World of the Dead for a little bit?
So pretty.
Because it's just like these purple, and then you have these ghosts.
I wasn't expecting to see something like that.
The jellyfish ring wraiths.
The little banshees.
They're like, you killed us, Grody.
And he's
like, God damn it.
It's loud.
But yeah, no. Do you have any moments that you want to mention back from Gotchard? About to say, I'm like, as much as I feel like
does
we
it
didn't
matter
talk about
after what we just talked about, all those emotions I just felt? Does it matter?
that is a fair point. Does it matter? It doesn't really matter.
I was re-feeling what I felt looking at these screenshots, and just like my chest felt happier. Like.
Yeah, again, I like that the trailer
sparked joy.
The trailer actually tricked you to think that they went to another planet.
My God, Japan finally put out a proper fucking trailer.
Because it's weird, we didn't skip the trailer for that episode, weirdly enough. I don't know why. But, like, we saw that, like, forest and the greenery and everywhere where they were in. We're like, oh my God, they did
it. They immigrated to another planet.
And then, like, yeah, we're like, oh my God, they're going to another planet. And then just for that forest to actually just be somewhere on Terra was, like, ingenious. I'm like, you tricked me.
Like, you actually, like, got me a little bit.
You swindled me.
So, wow, they actually put out a trailer with, like, a proper surprise. Gasp.
But yeah, so, what was your guys' favorite moments?
Guys.
In either show? Just tell us your favorite moments down in the comments, but mostly Kingohger. We'd like to talk about Kingohger.
I'm not ready for it to end. If it went on forever, I'd still watch it. If it went on like a soap opera, where it just went on for like 20 years for no reason, I'd tune in every single week.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I like it.
It is a personal favorite because it hits a lot of
the
personal things that I like medieval.
Here's what I want to say.
Swords,
I like
good
to say about
storytelling.
Kingohger. It's so everyone's just like, oh, the green screen. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, but it's trying something.
It's trying something new. It's something
It's
completely new.
How many times do we get a Sentai that is completely not in Japan or on Earth? Like, this
Almost
is its
never.
own planet. Like,
I think
imagine
Q
maybe
Ranger. I think
Q Rangers like went to space, but they stayed on Earth. They went
did they
to
stay on
regular
Earth?
Earth.
I thought that they were in space and
Yeah,
went to
they
different
traveled.
planets.
They traveled to different planets, but they still went to Earth at some point.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, technically they went to Earth.
Well, yeah,
at some
they
point.
did too. But like Earth
It's
became
mainly
a
based.
focal point at one point. Like there was an important
okay.
point of they had to get Earth. Could I say point anymore in that sentence? But it's something that's just so original and so much fun with a really great set of characters. If the characters don't work for you, I get why the show doesn't work for you. But for us, and at least for me, I think this is a spectacular show. Like from all 7 of its rangers to the villains being very creative and very interesting and showing like the warring sides isn't always as simple as you're the good guys, you're the bad guys. It's just maybe sometimes there's an external force. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Geki Ranger, if any of you guys have watched that. I know you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have not. I also I really have to appreciate they gave every single ranger so much respect. They took the fact that they were all rulers of a country so seriously. Like, I could see how, like, it easily could have turned very tropey very quickly. But, like, no, every character is treated, like, and they earn respect. They deserve it. Like, we respect them in a way. Like, I don't see Himino any less as a queen as Gira as a king, you know?
Well, yeah, it's like, these are all fun characters. But, yeah, tell us...
And, like, not to mention, like, they've really nailed like having like identifiable characters in every sense of what a character could be, from like focal main characters to side characters to even recognizable background characters. Like, this felt like an intimate show. Like, this felt almost like I was watching a stage show. Like, it's like everything is right there and I get to see everything unfold in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, rather than like...
Yeah.
I don't even know if that makes sense. It's probably because it almost looks like it has backdrops and repeating props and everything that you could see them wheel out real quick and reel back real quick. And like really good costumes and really good things.
By the way, we're not sure if the kings are dead by the end of this.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up at some point of like, hey, do you want to like talk about when the Galactic Insect King nuked the planet?
Oh, he pulled a Sephiroth. He pulled a Sephiroth and just was like, I'm gonna use Meteor. And you're like, oh god!
Insect King.
Oh my god.
Insect King.
But yeah, no. But either way, I just think these are fun shows. Like Gotchard, when it's good, it has its good moments. But is it improving?
It's not consistent.
Really.
It's
not consistent. It's just, it's okay. It's like, and if you're enjoying it, hey, have fun. Tell us what you're liking about it.
I will say that like one of the criticisms.
I love the suits though.
Oh, absolutely! I love so many things about this show, but my main problem with the show is like the show itself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, but I
don't know, like
one of the criticisms that we were talking about that I think they kind of only half solved in Gotchard a little bit. We were like, oh, I wonder if Rine will become more useful now that she is a writer. And the answer is only technically yes, in my opinion, at the moment. Because we've had a couple episodes with her as a writer now. And I feel like it's like, yeah, she's useful, but that's only because she's basically attached at the hip to Gotchard.
Yeah, like, again, why did they not separate?
Because, like, they've been separate before. Of, like, oh, like, almost like having, like, their own lives and interacting within that. Like, they were just, like... I know that, like, they're closer now, and they fight together, and they've, like, become much closer friends. But at the same time, it's, like, wouldn't it have been more interesting if they would have I don't know.
Broke off into groups.
I feel like it's a little bit more interesting just having more characters interacting more often, but that's just...
I don't know. We're gonna have to see what next week brings us.
Again, we're halfway through that show, though. It's like, I feel like it should have improved by now.
I'm about to say, well, it's going from the possibility of turning into a really good show to just being like,
I hope it's not bad.
Okay.
I hope it at least ends okay.
It hasn't pissed me off.
It's like I'm not like quitting on it or anything. It's not like just like I don't want to watch this.
And you're gonna hear all our opinions right here into this microphone.
Yeah, that's kind of how podcasts work out.
But yeah, again, tell us what you guys think down in the comments. What was your guys' favorite form?
Just tell me about Kingohger. What are you loving?
Yeah, what are you guys liking about Kingohger now that we're near its end? And if it's over by the time, just tell us. Tell us more about your Kingohger thoughts. But until, I guess, whatever we do next, until next week, do you have anything else?
I don't know. Just thanks for going through a whole another journey with us with Kingohger.
Not even mentioning Gotchard.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's like we started consistently doing this with Dawn Brothers.
Yeah.
And this was and now it's just like I remember just thinking at the end of Dawn Brothers, I'm like, how are they gonna follow this? Like that, and it's also dabbling on something I found a personal thing with of like, this is all the things that I like, but I watched Saber before this and didn't like it, so I was going in with almost like a negativity.
I remember. But all right.
But I just it's been like a whole thing of just like this has gone from like me iffy to like me just like this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. Well, you know,
it's called. We've shown this to other people, and they're also just loving the shit.
I've even shared it with people, and they've been really enjoying it. And I don't know, it's a special place in my heart at the moment, and probably will be forever. I don't know. We'll see.
Tell us your things down in the comments. Again, one last time, thank you all so much for listening and or watching.
We'll see you on the other side.
Until next week.
Bye-bye.